At this point, we have now covered several different ways in which you can synthesize harmonically rich and interesting sounds within Ableton Live. We have utilized instruments such as the operator, wavetable, and analog instruments, all of which use some form of basic synthesis technique that we have gone over so far. Those techniques ranging from additive synthesis to subtractive, FM, and wavetable synthesis. Today we're going to take a look at how we can take these ideas and take them a step further with combining multiple instruments together and creating instrument chains or effect chains within Ableton to create an entire almost cloud of sound within our projects. We will be doing this with an instrument called, well, not really an instrument, but a utility called the instrument rack. You can find that under instruments in our categories, and it's right here, instrument rack between impulse and operator. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag the instrument rack onto my blank MIDI track here. And you'll notice that I get a little pop-up bracket looking thing within my work area down here. Now you'll see here it instructs you to drop an instrument or sample here. And all we need to do now is just pick a couple of instruments that we want to insert into our instrument rack. So why don't we just put the three main instruments that we've worked with already within this rack. So we've got analog. I'll drop that in there. And then I'm going to, in order to get a look at all of the chains that exist within this rack, I'm going to show and hide the chain list. This is our list of instruments or effects that we have within this rack. So I've got my analog, and then I'm going to select my operator instrument and drag that in there. And then last but not least, the wavetable instrument. So as you can see now, we've got the three instruments there, and we can cycle through them just like this to mess with them. And you can see that each instrument has an independent volume slider, or sorry, each chain, because this is the chain, not the instrument. So each chain has an independent output fader, okay, has an independent panning. We can turn it on or off, or we can solo it if we want to. So what I like about this is that this allows us to build a sound beyond just one single instrument. For instance, we can use analog and then enhance it with the likes of operator and then add some background with wavetable. For instance, in this demonstration, I want to focus on building a sound, core sound with analog, and then build the body of that sound with operator, and then I'm going to apply some ambience to that sound with the wavetable synthesizer, giving us three levels we can work within our project, and three levels in which we can actually manipulate the sound that we're synthesizing. So let's start with our analog synthesizer, and let's just start moving around with some synthesis here. Okay, so we can tell already that we're hearing all three instruments at once, and that's because we have all three of the chains active. So to focus on the analog, I'm just going to solo it really quick here. Okay, so let's choose a wave shape here. We've got a saw. Let's go ahead and we'll stick with the saw, I guess. Let's put an amplitude envelope on it first. We'll go to linear here again. Maybe give it I want that release to be a little longer. Yeah, that release is good. I don't want quite as much sustain, because I'm going to use the operator to build the body of this sound, so even less sustain. That might be a little too much, too drastic. Yeah, we'll start with that. We'll work with that for now. All right, so we've got that. give it a little bit longer of an attack, actually. Okay, and then let's add in our second oscillator here. I want to go with a square wave, I think. And I want to drop the octave. Actually, no. I want to leave room for that range of you know what? Let's tune it up. 7 semitones. Yeah, I like that because I got that gives me a nice open sound with it. Basically, I've got this oscillator tuned an octave plus a fifth above my second oscillator. So we'll leave it at that. And then let's go ahead and enable a second amplitude envelope on this second oscillator here. And let's make this a nice quick attack. I want linear again, so about half the attack time. A little bit more of a sustain on this one. But a shorter release, I think. Yeah, okay, so now let's start filtering out some of the sound. So let's get some. What I want to do actually, let's do a band pass. Yeah, we'll start with that for now. We'll work with that. We can come back to this if we want to continue tweaking it some more. So let's now move on. We'll stop soloing it and let's move on to our operator. Let's build a little bit of a body to this sound. So I'm going to stick with just a basic sine wave here. I'm going to start by, I want a little bit of body, so I'm going to have about, what was the attack of this sound here? We had this guy. We had 16 and 120. Okay. So let's do about 15 millisecond attack. And we'll give it a little bit of a decay. About like that, I'd say. And then a release of, I'll give it a healthy release there. So start with that. Yeah, that will help color the attack of my sound, and then it'll help give a little bit of body. Raise the sustain just a little bit. All right, now let's start adding in some harmonics. Similar attack shape, a little bit longer. Longer attack. how these two sound together. We'll stop soloing. We'll turn those off. No, that actually does nothing for that sound. So let's start this over again. Let's go to a triangle wave here for, oh, not that one. Whoops, I want that one in a sine wave. We'll start with a triangle wave for our bass sound. You know what it is? I don't think we're filtering out enough frequencies here. I think that's what it is. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll turn that chorus down. Let's mess with this envelope. Yeah, we can work with that. Let's filter out some of this stuff too a little bit. Let's actually filter out some of that low end. Okay. All right, so we've got some sound there to work with. Let's now build up, now that we've built the main sound and the body, let's get some of the wavetable in there, and we'll just solo that to start with. And reminder, wavetable, we can expand the view. Let's get a nice big view of this so I can work with it. maybe choose a sound here to work with. Let's get what do we got here? Yeah, I like that sound. Let's work with this waveform. Let's turn on the sub. Actually, let's not turn on the sub. Let's just tune it down. Let's let this come in after the main sound and the body of the sound have come in. So we'll give that a nice long attack. We'll give it some sustain here. Actually increase that attack. We'll give it some sustain. We'll give it a nice release here too as well. So let's quickly just hear what this sounds like with everything. That, but I want to apply some motion to this sound. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to set the LFO 1 to that oscillator. Go ahead and turn the retrigger off. Yeah, I kind of like that. I like that. Let's bolster that up with a second oscillator here. Let's get a complementary waveform here. Let's maybe, so we've worked with a filter. It's got some harmonics to it. Let's just do some complex. What do we got in the complex waveforms? Octaphase. What is this guy? Right, okay, let's get some amp. Let's define another envelope here that has a nice long, well, not quite as long. About that, I guess. And release. Okay, yeah, I like that. Let's detune this -7 semitones. Let's do -10. Whoops. -10. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's get a little bit more motion on here with these filters. So let's cut out some of that high end. Okay, I've got that high end cut out a little bit. let's apply the second LFO, nice slow one, to that frequency to open it up. Let's turn retrigger off. Yeah, I think that's kind of nice. Let's mess with, how else can we tweak this? Let's turn down these guys a little bit here. Let's get the mix in here a little bit better. Yeah, I like that. That's nice and subtle. Got a little bit of movement there. Okay, so we've got our three instruments here with a nice, interesting sound there. If I had more time, I'd spend a little bit more time tweaking it. This guy's still just a little too harsh for me. Maybe if I turn the peak down. Just turn this oscillator. Actually, no, not that one. Let's turn down this guy a little bit. Yeah, and you know, let's actually pan that guy a little bit to the right. Pan that guy a little bit to the left. Yeah, you know, that's much better, I think. That's got a little bit more of an interesting sound to it. We've got the little nice short attacks with the operator, and then we've got some ambience with the wavetable, and we've got the main sound there. So we've got some basic sounds here that we can mess with. So now what the instrument rack allows us to do is it allows us to map macros, which if I click on this little button here, that shows my macro controls. And so what that allows me to do is that allows me to control certain parameters, whatever parameters I want to control easily within any of the instruments within here. So for instance, let's say I wanted to control the filter frequency of this first oscillator in analog. All I need to do is just go to map, click map on my instrument rack, select my filter frequency, and then just map that to this macro. And let's say I wanted to map this filter frequency to another macro. And let's say over here in the envelope, I wanted to change the tuning of my operator. So let's say I select that fine tuning, I map it there, select that fine tuning, and I'll map it there. Then let's say maybe in the wavetable, I want to manipulate, what could we manipulate? Let's say I wanted to manipulate the LFO rate. What the heck, we'll do that there. I'll leave these ones blank for a little bit. So now, if I go ahead and get out of map and I just turn off my chain view there, I have these macros I can mess with. And that's how you could do that. Last thing that is really cool about the instrument rack is now I can also apply audio effects to any one of these instruments that I want to further mess around with that. For instance, an echo effect might sound good with this wavetable here. So I'll just take this echo and drag it onto my wavetable synthesizer. And now if we were to solo it, we can increase the feedback. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. Maybe not quite so much feedback. Yeah, I like that. If we take that out of solo, we hear that in context. Yeah, and then we can say apply on our analog, we can apply another audio effect if we wanted to. Let's say we wanted to apply, I don't know. Let's say we wanted to apply a chorus effect. Sure, let's see what we got here. Yeah, that works. That works, I think. And then we can even, if we wanted to really boost this sound a little bit, one thing that we could do is we could duplicate this audio chain. And now we've got two of the same audio chain. And now what we can do is we can move one all the way to the left, the one all the way to the right. And then furthermore, what we could do is, let's say we wanted to take a MIDI effect. We wanted to put some chords on our analog. Wanted to do the same here. Let's say we put a little 7. Come on, 7, 10, and 14. Okay, so now because the operator is kind of integral with the analog, I want to apply that same chord effect to the analog. So I'm going to actually just really quickly, I'm going to Command C that. And I'm just going to click on that. Command V, delete the other one. And then I'm going to click on operator. I'm going to Command V that. And there we go. We've got the chord. And so now, right, that's a lot, but the real reason I want to do that is because now I can apply an arpeggiator to any of these guys here. And this is where the real fun starts to begin. You'll notice that we have 3 different arpeggiators here, which means we can have 3 different arpeggiator settings. So let's say we want this guy to be set for 16th notes. A little bit about gate like that. Give it 4 steps. What the heck? 4 steps with more distance to work with. And then this one we'll do converge and diverge. And so now if we just play that, let's see. And there we go. We've got an entire world of sound here within this instrument rack. And you can keep doing that if you wanted to. You can multiply these chains as much as you wanted. You can add as many effects as you wanted. And don't worry about the MIDI effects right now. We'll have a separate video explaining exactly what these MIDI effects are doing and how they work. But just know that we can take any of these instruments and apply any sort of audio effects we want to them, or any MIDI effects, or any sort of parameters with them, and we can keep multiplying them. We can add another instrument on top of this if we wanted to, and we can even program more macros. For instance, I can program the rate of my arpeggiators to my macros, and that's actually a really fun thing to do, because then it gives you very seamless control of the arpeggiators and how they play within each other. For instance, let's just play around here a little bit. And you can get crazy and crazier as you wish. And we've always got the other controls there as well that we can mess with. So last things to do here is that all we need to do is just save the work that we've done with this instrument rack as a preset. And you do that the same way you do anything else. Just make sure that you're saving the correct preset, because you could accidentally save just an individual instrument or effect preset. You don't necessarily want that. You want to save the entire rack, because you've got a bunch of chains that you've got working here, and you can keep adding more. In fact, you know what? Before we go out, I just want to add a little bit of reverb to that. Let's do like a nice, what the heck, oil barrel reverb to this operator. Wow, that might be a little much, so I'm going to get rid of that for now. Actually, I'm just going to turn it off for now. You can turn that off with this little yellow button. Turn that off for now. I can come back to that and fine tune it a little bit more, but I do think a little reverb might be nice on this operator synth. So with that, all I need to do is just click this little floppy disk. It opens up a new saved preset, and I can rename it. I can rename it analog op wave ARP 2000. And I've got a new preset that I've saved here. And that's that. We've got this beautiful little instrument rack that we can mess around with and create some more sounds. And then we can even add effects outside of that if we wanted to do a little bit of mixing and dynamic control there. We can just add in our effects on the outside of it to further shape this sound to fit within our mix. So with that, I highly recommend you start messing around with these instrument racks and start seeing what you can combine together to create interesting sounds. And remember, you can think about it in as many layers as you want. In this demonstration, I chose to think of it in 3 different layers. You could go to 4, you could do just 2 layers, or you could do like a 6-layer poly synth if you wanted to, with many synths. And do mess around with all the effects that you can add on top of that too, because you can almost build an entire song with just an instrument rack. So I hope this was helpful. Like always, if you need any more information or would like just some additional help on topics that I haven't covered or don't go too deep within this course, you can always check out Ableton.com. Their help files and their tutorials are wonderful and very informative, and they're all encompassing. So with that, again, I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.